The galactic combat arena had seen countless species throw their finest warriors into the ring over the past 3 centuries. The Krillian hive lords with their chitinous armor and acid spit, the crystalline Vorthak who could reshape their limbs into razor-sharp blades, the psychic Nathari who could crush minds with a thought. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared the galaxy for the humans. Admiral Zexhai of the Arena Commission drummed his 6 fingers against the obsidian table as he reviewed the footage from Earth's first tournament entry. The human champion, a female called Sarah Chen, had decimated the competition using weapons so primitive that most civilizations had abandoned them millennia ago. Kinetic projectiles, explosive compounds, sharp metal implements. Barbaric, muttered Council Member Thriss, her scales rippling with distaste. How did a species this violent even survive to reach space? The answer had become painfully obvious. Over the following tournaments, humans didn't just survive violence, they perfected it. While other species had evolved beyond physical conflict, developing energy shields and plasma weaponry, humans had spent thousands of years finding new and creative ways to kill each other. Their military technology was crude, but devastatingly effective. After the 3rd consecutive human victory, the Council voted unanimously. All human-designed weapons were banned from the arena. The galaxy breathed a collective sigh of relief. Dr. Marcus Webb stood in the preparation chamber, stretching, muscles that looked deceptively ordinary compared to the enhanced physiques of his competitors. The galactic arena's medical scanners had cleared him. No weapons, no technological augmentations, no banned substances. Just a baseline human in simple combat attire. "You sure about this, Doc?" his handler, Jenny Martinez, asked nervously. "Without your gear, you're going up against a Krillian devastator. Those things can punch through starship hulls." Marcus smiled, the expression not reaching his eyes. "Trust me, I've prepared for this my entire career." The arena floor was a sterile white circle, 50 meters in diameter, surrounded by energy, barriers that could contain a nuclear explosion. In the stands, millions of beings from across the galaxy watched as the human stepped forward to face his opponent. The Krillian Devastator was a nightmare of evolutionary warfare. 3 meters tall, covered in natural armor plating, with 4 arms ending in bone spurs sharp enough to cut diamond. Its mandibles clicked with anticipation as green acid dripped from its mouth. "Contestants ready?" The announcer's voice echoed through the arena. "Begin!" The Devastator charged with surprising speed, its claws aimed at Marcus's throat. The human didn't dodge. Instead, he stepped forward, allowing the creature's momentum to drive one of its bone spurs directly into his left shoulder. The crowd gasped. Several species began calculating how quickly human regenerative technology could regrow the limb, but Marcus wasn't screaming in pain. He was smiling. "Thank you," he whispered to his confused opponent, then grabbed the embedded bone spur with both hands and twisted. The Devastator tried to pull back, but Marcus held firm, using the creature's own weapon as an anchor. With his free hand, he reached into a small pouch on his belt, something the scanners had identified as medical supplies, and withdrew what appeared to be a simple bandage. "You see?" Marcus said conversationally as he pressed the bandage against the Krillian's chitinous hide. "When your species banned our weapons, you made a fundamental error in classification." The Devastator's eyes widened as an unfamiliar burning sensation spread across its carapace where the bandage touched. It tried to shake Marcus off, but the human held on with grim determination, his blood flowing freely from the shoulder wound. "You assumed that biology couldn't be weaponized, but humans have been using biological warfare for millennia. We've studied every toxin, every pathogen, every biochemical reaction that can harm or kill." The burning spread rapidly across the Krillian's body. Its natural armor began to soften and bubble. "That bandage contains a synthetic enzyme specifically designed to break down your species' chitin structure. It took our xenobiologists 6 months to develop after studying tissue samples from previous Krillian competitors." The Devastator's roar of rage turned into a whine of pain as its armor literally began dissolving. Marcus finally released his grip and stepped back, watching with clinical interest as his opponent collapsed, its protective carapace now nothing more than a viscous puddle. "And my blood," Marcus continued, examining his freely bleeding shoulder, "has been saturated with a cocktail of human-specific coagulants and vasoconstrictors. What would be a mortal wound for any other species will seal itself within minutes for me." True to his words, the bleeding had already slowed to a trickle. In the stands, the crowd sat in stunned silence. The council members exchanged horrified glances as the implications became clear. "Humans didn't just adapt to violence," Admiral Zexhai whispered. "They became violence incarnate." Dr. Webb turned to face the cameras, his shoulder already beginning to heal. "You can ban our technology, our weapons, our equipment, but you cannot separate a human from their most dangerous tool, their mind. We are a species that turned poisonous. Mushrooms into medicine, deadly bacteria into life-saving antibiotics, and radioactive elements into power sources." He spread his arms wide, addressing the galaxy. "Every warrior who steps into this ring carries their evolutionary advantages. Natural, armor-enhanced strength, psychic abilities. But humans, our evolutionary advantage is that we never stopped learning new ways to survive. And if survival means turning our own biology into a weapon system, then that's exactly what we'll do." The medical teams rushed onto the field, but there was little they could do for the Devastator. The enzyme had done its work too thoroughly. As Marcus walked off the arena floor, the announcer's voice barely managed to croak out, "Winner, the human, Dr. Marcus Webb." In the aftermath, as xenobiologists and military strategists across the galaxy scrambled to understand the implications, one thing became abundantly clear. You could ban human weapons from the arena, but you couldn't ban humans from being weapons. The galaxy would never make that mistake again.